Hello everybody and welcome back. This video is all about what we're considering in terms of maybe an alternative lifestyle. So if you haven't been here before, my name's Tracy.
I'm Mark.
And we are parents to 5 girls. You can see them in the other previous videos, but 4 of them are at primary school age, which is one of the reasons why we are considering what we're considering, which is Vanlife. Yeah. So Mark's got the controls. So I think really what we ought to start with is why we're considering van life. Just so from your perspective, why is it something that we are talking about?
I think we just want a different lifestyle. We don't want to be conformed to a 9 to 5 job, doing the same thing every day. You're just not living life. You want to be out experiencing life, experiencing what the world has to offer, rather than just getting up in the morning, going to work, working, coming home again, feeding, tidying the house, going to sleep. There's no life to it. You want to be out experiencing and making the most of your one life that you have. So
I'm just going to give a little bit of a background to this. We had already previously considered homeschooling our children because a couple of them have been struggling within the schooling system, and what is considered to be a level of intelligence or how you learn. They are extremely intelligent in many different ways, and but they just don't really do so well in that particular learning environment. So we'd already done that, and you can catch some of the previous videos that we've done when we did a homeschooling trial last year. And since then, we had sent them back to school, and I had been in employment. We just went backwards and forwards of whether we've made the right choice, whether we've made the right decision, and there's so many things that have led up to this point. The biggest challenge is that everything is costing so much more now, which then means that we would need to get even further employment, which means spending even less time together and even less time with the girls. Nevaeh's already got to 10, and I feel like the last 4 years in particular, with the amount that I've worked, it's been...
That's 10.
Sorry?
That's 10 years just into a poof.
Yeah, no, true. But in particular, the last 4 years, I feel that the amount that I've been working, evenings, weekends, consistently means that I have missed out on spending quality time with the girls. Of course, we've spent some quality time together, but I just feel like we're just constantly working, not getting any further, and not creating the memories or the experiences that we want with our children. And probably a little bit more poignantly for me, my brother passed away a few years ago, and his children were 3 and 6 at the time, same age as some of ours. My ex-partner also passed away at 46. I turned 46 this year. I'm getting all emotional. I just don't want to have life just pass by and us not have the experiences that we really want to create with our children, and I don't feel like we're doing that right now.
No, live a life of no regrets.
Yeah, but there are a huge amount of considerations to go with this, so it's not just a let's go and live in a van. First of all, financially, we don't have a house to sell. We would need to sell quite a lot of our possessions to be able to do that, because it's not like we have this huge nest egg or anything to be able to fund it. So it would need to be funded along the way of earning, selling the possessions that we currently do have to fund it. So that's a big consideration.
And it helps declutter. It
does help declutter. There are so much stuff in our house, which I really hate. But the other considerations, I think we need to be a little bit sensible. People will be questioning our sanity probably on this.
So borderline hoarders in this place, aren't we?
Is with the amount of children. So let's just talk about some of the questions that we've initially come up with and consistently talk about, because I know that people will think that we probably haven't thought this through. So why don't you start?
Where do we start? So one of the biggest ones was obviously space. 6 of us in a van, making sure there's enough space. That's a big one. You're in control now. Not me. Space, the finances, being able to still work, earn money to pay for the adventure, pay for the lifestyle that we're going to choose.
Yeah. Certain amenities that we've also considered. Obviously, we would need to be homeschooling our children. And so that's also part of that, is like how we're going to manage that, making sure they've got the right access to technology. A lot of their school, just before we get so many people going, that's really bad having them on devices. They are on so many different devices in the schooling day as it is anyway. So like we can just put that.
It's all online as well.
Exactly, we can just put that one to bed. It's not like we're doing something outside of what a schooling system is already doing. We are also considering following the national curriculum. There's so many different ways that you can homeschool, and I'm sure that our journey will probably evolve and change along the way if we do go down this route. But we're considering sticking to the national curriculum, in particular for Nevaeh, who is very academic. She loves school. She's not keen on the idea of homeschooling at all. So we want to be able to make sure that no matter what happens, if push came to shove, we could put her into mainstream school and she just, squeeze straight back in and not feel that she's behind in any way, shape or form. So other considerations are simple things like what do we do about bathrooms, showers, what type of facilities do we want in the van to make it as comfortable as possible. We have considered that our first trip will be around the UK, and that's because it just means that it gives us the opportunity that if something did go completely awry, it's not like we're abroad or anything and we can't fix it. So yeah, biggest considerations I would say space and the layout of that, and how we try to incorporate making sure that our children feel that they've got enough places that they can have their own time.
Let's get the kids involved as well, isn't it? We've involved them on the process of facilities inside the van.
Yeah. And we've not exactly 100% made our mind up, have we? So what we're going to do is we're going to take you on the journey of what we're considering, how we're going to go about deciding the best way forward. We have done a lot of research and connected with some families that are already doing this, which is absolutely amazing. We've considered what type of vans.
What we're looking at, Mercedes Sprinters.
So high top, long wheelbase. So for those of you that may not be au fait with some of the technology or the techno speak, a long wheelbase just means that it's longer than the majority of vans, and a high top, as it would suggest, means that the height of it is much higher than a normal van. That does actually come with some other consequences. So for example, where there's places with low bars, we wouldn't be able to get in them. So these are the things that we have to consider.
Height restrictions. Yeah. Car park height restrictions.
Thank you.
A lot of the car parks around here in Torbay have height restrictions to stop travellers getting into car parks and camping up. So we need to ensure that, we just have to cross those out.
Yeah, and obviously the financial implications of what we do in terms of work.
Route planning as well, bridges.
That's
another one to note.
Yeah, all of these types of things. So there's so many different categories of things to think about. It's what it's like from a living on a day-to-day basis. It's the practicalities of the amenities that you're going to need. It's then the practicalities of the travel and what that actually means. It's the practicalities in terms of finances and what that means, and how we're going to do that. But I think the biggest driving factor for us is memories, creating memories, spending time with our children, and also helping them to see that there is something wider than the circle of influence that they currently have. As a society,
there's more of a world out there than just here in Torbay. There's a bigger, wider world out there to experience and explore.
Yeah, and also that the world is your classroom, and that there's more ways of learning than mainstream school. And I'm not against mainstream school. I really want to make that perfectly clear. But what I am against is I am against all of the testing. I am getting emotional again. I am against the fact that my children have come home saying that they think that they're stupid because they don't seem to be able to get something in a particular timescale. They know an answer, but just not within the timescale that they've been given to answer it. And that's move it that way.
I'm trying to, but not too fast.
And so that's made them feel less than they are. That I am dead against. And I'm extremely passionate about that, and it makes me very...
Yeah, well, everyone's got a different way of learning, and it doesn't seem to be those needs are being met as such.
No. And when one of our children in particular has done really well at certain subjects, because they don't test on that every day and they test on English and maths instead, she's just come back so distraught and upset and felt like the things that she's doing really well and that she's worked super hard on, and she's not getting recognised for, and it breaks me. It really...
Don't cry, that means I've got to talk.
You're going to need to take over.
Yeah, it's soul destroying. Seeing the life and the excitement sucked out of a day of school and the everyday battle of trying to get them into school, and trying to negotiate. I mean, most parents go through it, but when you know there's a possibility of a different outcome or a way of teaching them yourself,
building their confidence, like at 9 years old, to destroy the confidence of it. To destroy the confidence of somebody when they're so little it's not right. I'm not quite sure what you're doing right now.
The camera just seems to wander itself. I don't understand why.
So yeah, I'm trying to pull myself together now. But yeah, that's a big driving factor for us, and also the fact that I have hardly spent any time with Mark. We hardly spend any time together at all because
that's the reason why we've lasted 11 years, 12 years.
Now we don't because you're working or
and
then additional work.
Let's put it this way: the last 10 years has disappeared. It just seems to be there's no memories. There's little memories.
Yeah.
There's no big ones. And that's 10 years have just blip by. A bit like the Avengers. We seem to be. 1 minute we were here, and then all of a sudden we're now here there. So to be able to have an adventure and a different lifestyle, to be able to go out, explore and be together as a unit, is a much more exciting, much more life fulfilling,
much more aligned with how we really wanted to be as a family, and so that's the consideration. So,
rather than being in with everyone else in the 9 till 5,
which is not a 9 till 5. It's more like 8
days,
until 8 at least, or
maybe
7 until 9.
20 years ago, one parent was enough to be able to bring in enough income into the house to be able to afford to pay everything. But nowadays, it's everybody in the household. It's almost going back to Victorian times, isn't it? Mm-hmm. Everyone needs to go out and get a job as soon as you're old enough to go and get paper rounds to help bring the money into the household. It's not great.
No.
But it's just the way that the world goes. But, if you've got an opportunity to break that cycle and to be different, why not have a go? Got nothing to lose.
Yeah, exactly.
Go have an adventure.
That is our, at the moment, the plan or the startings of a plan. So if you have any resources or anybody that you think that we'd be advised to connect to, we would love your help on that. That would absolutely be phenomenal. And I appreciate that for some people this is going to be like, you are nuts and crazy, and why on earth would you even consider that? And I appreciate that. Oh, sorry. And I appreciate that that you may have those kind of feelings as well, because we've had those conversations about whether we're crazy, but we also know that what we have experienced so far is not how we want to continue. So, yeah. We look forward to bringing you updates on whether this can come to fruition and what that journey looks like, or what the
stay tuned to see if we survive.
Yeah, definitely. So thanks for watching.
Bye.